Birmingham, how we doing? Look at all these marketers. This is great. I am so glad everybody is here. Is my lav on? I can't tell. I'm just so loud. So I apologize to everybody who is sitting right here in the front row. This is probably the toughest seat in the house. But we got some great people down here on the end. So my name is Scott. Welcome to the Marketing Breakout from Birmingham AI. So let me see a show of hands. Whose first Birmingham AI event is this? Oh, that's a pretty good crowd. Look at that. We got some crossover. This is what you call attribution. Okay, these are our first click. No, I'm just kidding. We're not doing any of that. Okay, so I'm going to break my cardinal rule for presentations up here for the first little bit, and I'm going to have to read you some of these slides. I know, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to, but this is the kind of thing that we feel like is really important. So, the Birmingham AI mission, to accelerate AI adoption in Birmingham for all, from a meetup to a movement. Now, if you look around the room right now, there's so many people. We've got so many talented professionals in this room, okay? And the way that we've been talking about this, while we've been trying to prep our meetings, as marketers, I felt like we were some of the first people who got the attack from AI. They said, is AI going to replace us? Are we going to be the first ones to go? I'm not going to be the first one to go. I'm way too stubborn. Look at me. It's hard to get me out of a chair, okay? So, but the thing that I feel like cannot be replaced is this connection. Is having people like this together in a room so that we can grow and develop together. That's why we're here. That's the purpose. That's how it goes from a meetup to a movement. Okay? I'm sorry, I'm the sales guy. Okay? These are the marketing people. All right, I'm the other side of that coin. So like I said, my name is Scott. I've been in sales and marketing for about 10 years, different agencies around town. And what really kind of inspired me to try to bring this team together up here. One time when I was 13 years old, I was out on the cattle farm with my grandfather. A 13-year-old boy, I had no idea what was going on. What do I do with my life? How do I get on? Like, what do we do? So I asked my grandfather. Didn't talk very much because he was an old cattleman. And he said, well, there was one time when your mom was a baby and a milking barn went out. Half of it. Couldn't get any of the milk out of the cattle. What are we going to do? But I met a man at the Cattlemen's Association the day before, had a brand new milking product. That could come in, replace everything, okay? Almost as much as it costs to fix it. This is what you call a technical redo. We didn't do Mike's and tech with this one. I'm so sorry. So I said, so he went back through, replaced the whole thing, doubled production for the year. So he said to me, this is what you have to do. Do not be afraid of innovation and lean on your community. And that's why we're here. Our mission to you. We exist because marketers shouldn't navigate the AI revolution alone. This breakout is organized to build Birmingham's most inclusive, dynamic AI marketing community, where marketers can cut through the hype, learn from real implementations, and grow together. We'll do this through our monthly gatherings, prioritizing number 1, interaction, experimentation, practical application. That's it. This is why we're here, to grow together. To be together, to experiment together, and to learn how to apply AI in real, practical, measurable. So, these are our values right here that we are looking at. Ethics over hype, okay? We want to build a foundation. We're not just going to jump on the train of whatever's new. We're not just going to try to lead you down a path of something else. We're going to build an ethical standard, okay? Curiosity in action. We are going to apply what we're learning. We are going to learn from each other, okay? Accessibility, it's not a gatekeeper. We are not gatekeepers, okay? We're just here to help everyone. And creativity with a purpose. The best AI is the one that we can apply our creativity to. We can use our creativity to steer the models, to steer the algorithms. That's what marketers have been doing forever. That's what we're still doing. We just have a different medium now. Surfboard's got a little bigger. And collaboration beats competition. Now, I love a good competition, okay? I love having Facebook ads go toe-to-toe against somebody else in a vertical all day. But in this room, we are together. In this room, we are collaborators. We are not competitors. We're competing against the other people in the space. The people who are saying that AI is coming for us. No, it's not. We're coming for it. Period. So, what are we going to try to accomplish today? I just set out expectations, probably because I have a 3-year-old. So the only thing I can do is set out expectations, or I'm going to lose the fight every day. So We're going to talk about a little news, just a little bit. And then we're going to go with the wonderful Mr. Daniel Walters right here. He is going to help us capitalize on our local reviews using AI. And then the true best of us, Miss Laura Flowers, is going to give us an overview of AEO, GEO, SEO AI. We can't pick an acronym, that's fine. We're going to win the fight either way. And then we're going to jump into a little audience Q&A at the end. So, let's get into a little bit of recent news. Now, I know it's almost like coming through a fire hose. Okay, there's new news all the time. There's a new model, there's a new tool, there's a new everything, there's a new algorithm, there's a new social media platform. I wish they would just launch American TikTok so we can stop talking about it. But this is something that I felt a moral obligation to talk about. It's a term that we're now coining like conversational commerce. Now, Walmart and OpenAI have kind of had this secret relationship for a few months. OpenAI has been in Walmart's workforce development, training their people a lot on AI. And now they are actually in the process of rolling out true conversational commerce on ChatGPT so that you can buy things from Walmart and Sam's Club. And my bank account's already afraid because my Sam's Club card just lights up. So they do it through Stripe too. If you're asking, how are they going to manage all the payment platforms? So if some of the people are thinking, what's my website foundation? If you're on Stripe, I'm just saying, you need to start looking at some stuff around because that looks like one of the first places they're going. This also, from the news that I've heard come out, is going to be the beginning of the ads that are going to be on ChatGPT. Because they are working on building their own ad platform in the background. Yay, another certification we can get. Woo! So the other piece of news that I want to talk about is the beginning of the browser war that we are on. So we had Comet come out, and then we actually did a talk about Comet a couple weeks ago at the general meetup. And now ChatGPT has just released their version. It's called Atlas, which is on Mac. And as you can tell from my beautiful block up here, I am not on a Mac, so I am not cool enough to get to it yet. So I know there's a lot of questions too. How can we use an AI browser to help us as marketers rather than just feeding it our data and hoping it turns out the right way? Well, this is a podcast called Marketing Against the Grain from HubSpot. It's the CMO of HubSpot, that's the gentleman on the bottom, and an SVP from HubSpot is the guy on top. And they have a great marketing and AI podcast, and they give out a lot of prompts and structures and formulas and custom GPTs. And so they had a good use case that I heard the other morning. I don't know if you can see right here on the side. My light doesn't really work, but right here on the side, they're actually taking the Atlas and they're having it run a customer audit on their website to find the pain points, to find things that aren't working. So there's a use case, and if you want to get ahead with the use case for an AI browser. All the information, too, that we're covering kind of quickly today, since there's a lot of us, we're going to have much more expanded versions out in the email that's going to come out after this event. It's going to have links to all of these, as well as links to these videos, and follow-up information that my two lovely cohorts are going to give you, okay? So, I'd like to pass the mic off now to the wonderful, the talented, some of you may not know him, but I'm sure you have heard him, is the Mr. Daniel Walters. Thank you.
So first off, thank you guys for coming. I was actually joking with them earlier. It's like you could tell this is a marketing group because everybody was here in their seats, eating, ready to go to dinner. Like there wasn't the normal influx of people right at the last minute. So again, before we go forward, yeah, there we go. I haven't used this before. I'm a technical as well. So my name is Daniel Walters. I'm an operations and martech leader. I specialize in small businesses and really B2C marketing things. Really, a lot of my background in marketing comes from two places, and the people who are my friends are going to take two things off really quickly because we talk about them all the time. Iron Tribe and Apple. I worked at Iron Tribe for 3 years, learning vertical marketing, and I worked at Apple for 3 years at the local Apple store, learning a lot of customer service stuff. So that's kind of where a lot of my perspectives will come from. If you're around me for more than 5 minutes, you'll hear a whispering quote. Not even kidding. I've seen the entire series, all 7 seasons, all the way through. 17 times? Yeah, it just runs in the background. It's an ADHD. I'm also a gamer. I love video games, and I'm a Birmingham person. I love to give tours to people who come in from out of town of Birmingham, and we'll go for 2 or 3 hours. So, sorry about that. There we go. All right. So, but to talk about marketing, just in general, okay? What is if we could have 100 leads come from one lead source, what source would it be? Referrals. Okay? Why? Somebody tell me why. Shout out. Huh? They're warm. What else? Verified. What else? Free. What else? There it is. Somebody said it. Who said it? Of course you did. Of course you did. And I appreciate it. Because they're trusted. Okay? Anytime that we get a referral from somebody else, one of our friends, and again, I keep pressing the wrong direction. Word of mouth marketing. Okay? There is inherent trust built around this one. Now, I can sit here and tell you that 23% of daily chat in between people are talking about their favorite products, things that they actually use. I can tell you that your LTV for lifetime customer value is 200% higher if they come from a referral source. Or I can tell you that 71% of people are more likely to make a purchase based on the social media. Okay? These are all important things. But if these things aren't put out there, or they're not shared, they're not doing you any good. So what I'd like to talk about today is my experience of taking, what do we know about referrals? They're under leveraged. Sometimes you're scared of them because they're negative. And to really take them out of where they live, it can be a time sink. Like you have to go and design it in Canva, and then you have to go create a video. Well, to create a video, you've got to record somebody, and record somebody, you got to think about video and audio. Okay? A lot of these moving pieces. So how can we use AI to accelerate some of these processes? Okay. So what I did was I went on the Google business reviews for Innovation Depot. I pulled out this review, 5-star review. And I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate 3 pieces of content that Innovation Depot could use. Okay? Just to kind of see what the experience is like. So this is kind of the process that I used. And of course, it's not going to put up the ChatGPT logo that I had there. Sorry. Oh, you changed the background color, didn't you? Anyway. So process, pretty simple process. Grab my input, use the system to process it, and then adjust any outputs that I get. Okay, so our input is the screenshot of the referral. Now I chose to use several different platforms, although it would have been nice to have one platform that did. So just to identify some of these things, the logo you can't see is ChatGPT. The big G is Gamma. The purple one is Captions, and then the little body guy is Sora. So going through all of these, I have some good news and bad news. And I always like to start with bad news first. Okay? Bad news, and I kind of alluded to this earlier, there's no one tool out there, AI tool, to rule them all for us right now. There's no silver bullet or things like that. Okay? These things will kind of get you about 80% there most of the time, but it's still up to you to take in the rest of it. If you're trying to rebrand an entire piece of content, that doesn't happen. Okay, I'll show you an example here in just a minute where I actually tried to do something like that, and it just Gemini flat out said no. It's absolutely no. And again, it's still up to us to take it that last month. There's so many people out there using AI right now that are expecting it to do everything for them. They're expecting it to ship. You hear that in the engineering breakout a lot. Oh, it just ships. It just ships. That's not the case with marketing. Because in marketing, we have so many different facets that we have to look at something through. Okay? So, still up to us to breathe life into these things, make them our own. Now, all that was the good news. Blank page syndrome is gone. Okay? Like, yes, everybody should clap for that. No. Like that's one of the things for me. It's like I'll get in my head and be like, oh, I need to do this thing, this and that, and it's like, but I have to start. Where do I start from? And then just stare that blank page down. Now I can just walk into ChatGPT and be like, give me 10 ideas on this. No, I don't even type it. I just say it, and it happens there. Tools are getting better. One of the tools I've been using a lot here lately is creates presentations, you can do carousels, all this other stuff with Gamma. And that tool I don't think existed 6-8 months ago. And now to have something that like spits out a presentation with just my outline of things, like there are better tools constantly coming out. Now that's the burden on us as marketers. We have to look at a lot of different things. We're going to have to learn a lot of different systems, we have to learn a lot of different tools. But hey, we learn, that's what we do. And again, just like I said before, it's still up to us to take that last month and breathe our life. So, and some of these things will actually be shared out, like Scott alluded to in the presentation afterwards, and some email. I'm going to attempt to look through, and if this doesn't work the first time, we're just going to move on from it. But essentially, what I did with all of these was I went to ChatGPT, and prompts are in the Google Drive folder as well. So you'll have all of the pieces where you can go play with what I did. Okay. All I did was I took the review, and I asked ChatGPT. I was like, "Hey, here's a screenshot of a Google review. I want to create a prompt for Gamma to give me a carousel. I want to create a prompt for Sora 2 to give me a video, and I also want to create a prompt for Captions to create a video." So those prompts, put them into their respective platforms, and I got some content from it. Now again, what did I find? Number one, from Gamma, didn't use any of the branding that I gave it in the prompt. Now, what I did do is I took it from Gamma and I moved it into Google Slides. And I have Gemini with a Google Slides. So it's like, hey, Gemini, here is a block of the branding for Innovation Depot. Reformat these slides. Said flat out. Would not change anything about the color of the design or anything like that. Which to me, as a marketer, looking and using AI, giving you specs, that should be something simple to do as an AI. But as a person, I know it's going to take you about 5-10 minutes to like go in, brand that stuff. That content is always the hard part. So I've got it in there, I just go and brand it, and in the future, guess what? I now have a theme that I can apply on to the next one. So there are some good pieces and some good benefits to them. So this right here, so one of the things that we wanted to also do, because we wanted you guys not only to just get this content, but also have the things, have something tangible to use. So we created a custom GPT, very specifically to help you guys take reviews and generate ideas and learn about new AI tools that you can use to generate the content from these items.
Hey Danny, what's a custom GPT?
Oh, wow! I apologize for that.
There goes.
So let's do this, because I can't ever do things simply. Raise your hand if you know what a custom GPT is. Okay, for the most part, we do. For the couple of people who don't, which is totally fine, a custom GPT is essentially a custom built prompt that is repeatable. and it constantly repeats no matter what the content that you put in there. So, for instance, one of my personal custom GPTs is I have a prompt polisher. I have a GPT that all I have to do is like spit some stuff in there, and it will automatically turn out a prompt that I've previously asked ChatGPT to optimize in certain ways. Also, if you have a personalized ChatGPT, I'm talking a lot about ChatGPT, but there's plenty of other things about it. If you have personalized ChatGPT, you should absolutely. But regardless, getting back to this, we've created a custom GPT reviewed content for you guys to be able to use with some of your content. Now, also, I'll say this. Hopefully, this will prompt you to create your own GPTs, because I think that is something that is highly underutilized from the people who I've had experience with. Is anything that you're repeating more than twice, I go create a custom GPT because again, it's that repeatable prompt. That's absolutely. Questions, comments, concerns? So you mentioned something called Gamma. What was Gamma again? So Gamma is an AI tool that basically generates presentations. Okay, now what they have also added into it, because a lot of people will get their presentation and the next word is PDF. Something like that. Well, hey, if you look over at LinkedIn carousels, what do you create? You create a PDF. So they actually have inside of Gamma a specific section that's called social, which is really allows you to go and have it create carousels.
Yeah. So Gamma, and then Sora, if you haven't seen it, is the new AI TikTok competitor of AI.
Like when he says TikTok competitor, it's not like these other ones where it's like, the words kind of match or kind of looks like something. No, it actually like was legitimate, like a shot. And you can still kind of tell, but you have to take a second, maybe a third look on Sora. But again, this is Gamma right here. It's kind of different. So the pricing is not terrible. I believe it's either $8 a month, $18 a month. And I forget what the premium is. Now the way that it works is it works off of credits. But I think like the $8 a month gives you 1,000, and I think the 18 gives you 2,000. Both pay the LinkedIn branding that there is. And like the free account, like I only still have a free account. And each month it gives you 200 credits, and I think I'm at like 198. So it's like, I don't use a lot of the AI generation pieces, a ton, but it is one of those tools. I always like to say it's an arrow in my quiver, because as a marketer, yeah. Yes. I'm 99% sure you can use it for commercial uses. I'm not a lawyer, nor do I pretend to be. So I would highly double check that. But I do believe, like, even the free version it generates up to 10 slides per prompt. And if you go to the paid version, it's 20 slides per prompt. And what you put in, it's just like garbage in, garbage out. If you put in a lot of detail, you have a lot of those things. A lot of times what I'll start with when I have ideas, I'll start with an outline, then I'll go flesh out a little bit of that outline. You just copy and paste that outline straight into it, and it will generate, I will say it will generate a slideshow good enough for me. If I've got 15 minutes before I have to do a presentation, I can go use Gamma and pull that presentation off. That's how good it is. And 6 months ago, when it first launched, or 6-8 months ago when it first launched, these tools are constantly getting better. And so that's why as marketers, we have a mutual mentor, Bill Colazar, and one of the things that he always mentions is that outside of the CEO, the CMO has to be the most interdisciplinary person inside of an organization. And so as marketers, all of us have to be interdisciplinary. We have to be thinking from these different perspectives. You know, we're talking a lot about gamma and such. That's sales. You know, a lot of these things are going to have different logins, different systems, different permissions. Hey, that's the IT side. You're going to have to pay for them all. Hey, that's the accounting side. And we are expected to speak all of these different languages. The other people are not expected to speak ours. So it's up to us to make sure that we're learning the tools, educating ourselves, and educating other people inside of our organizations. I'm sorry, I feel like I just went on a rant. I apologize.
What are the review GPTs? Like, I think it would be good to show what you talked about. Like, do you have a way to just pull it in GPT? Or
if you get back to the presentation, you should be able to hit the link. Now that the browser matches the screen, and it's not the extended one. We've all had that happen before.
So we're talking about, I was just showing everybody custom GPTs that actually will help with Gamma. In the ChatGPT, just custom library that they have. You go through there and you use that one to help you. So okay, we can pitch another device real quick. So we talked a lot about ChatGPT today, and sometimes when it comes to crossing over platforms like that, another way you can do it is if you're on Claude and you have the MCP server, if you make the MCP connection to Claude, then it will help transfer the software, like transfer your template across to another one. So if you built it in there, and it's like for Canva or PowerPoint, then the MCP will actually translate it over to Gamma or translate it from Gamma to Google Slides. So like if you build something on Gamma that you like a lot, but you know the boss is saying it has to be Google Slides, the account team, we've all had that conversation before. Then you can just do that, and it will help translate. It gets about 95% of the way there. But I'd rather have something start at 95% than start at 0%. I don't know about y'all, but that's a lot of voices.
GPT? MCP.
No, the MCP.
Oh, MCP, sorry.
So MCP is just the way that Claude, I'm sorry. So it's that way that Claude can speak directly to software a little bit quicker. It just makes the transaction a lot faster. So you can speak to software than trying to bounce back and forth and copy paste all over. That's a different
it's kind of like APIs, but for generating AI. Like MCP is a simple way to think about it is like an API.
And just really quickly, this is a personal thing of mine. When you hear somebody say API, what should you think of? Anybody want to take a guess? No. Blue. Integration. Blue. Why? Because APIs connect things. Okay? They're the glue of the internet. That's just an analogy that I use all the time. It's a lot easier when you explain it to So you can see here in the tabs on the left, I've got the ChatGPT prompt, the Gamma prompt, Captions prompt, the Sora link, and the link to the custom GPT. If I click on this, here it is. So all you have to do with this, very simple, is take your screenshot, drop it in here, and from there it will walk you through the process of generating the ideas. Now what it will do is it will also say, hey, are you using any current AI tools right now? If so, what are they? And then it asks one other question, and then it will start to generate a list of 10 suggestions for content, as well as tools for you to go out and try. So AI-generated, AI-based tools for you guys to go and use. So, for instance, Captions is one of them. So now, additionally, inside the GPT, if you're just like stuck, you just need to go from here. This one right here is the client testimonial. I can just click on that, and it'll prompt me immediately, hey, you can make your short videos. Any of these custom pieces, or any of those initial prompt, I forget what they're called. The starters, thank you. Any of the starters can help you, like, get past that white page. So that's a lot of times what I'll use the starters for. Is sometimes I'll go into it and be like, I think I have an idea, maybe not. Now, I've created some of those starters as part of the Custom GPT. So this is kind of what it looks like. What other questions do you guys have about content generation? Yes, sir.
Reaction. Trying to get an awareness of AI stuff, detecting it. When I grew up, the millennials were doing advertising, figuring it all out. People really happy to have advertising, or they never get it.
I think you can answer that two ways. One from the business and one from the consumer. From the consumer point of view, I don't think people are going to be able to tell the difference. I think there's going to be a lot of slop out there. I think, humans have the best BS leader out there. And so if they look at stuff and that looks too good to be true, or that quote, like red flags will go off. I think from a business perspective, particularly leadership, if you're thinking like leadership team, a lot of those people will think, oh, this makes it even easier. I don't need as big of one. I don't need this, etc. This is actually one of the core values for our group. We want to enable you guys with these tools. But one of the things we want to do for this community is really make sure that we're focusing in on an overarching strategy, because the strategy is not going to change. Human psychology doesn't change. A lot of these strategies are based in human psychology, and I don't see our psychology changing anytime. That changes generation. So I think you can look at it in a couple different perspectives. You're not going to be able to replace marketers. There are a lot of people that are going to try and use these tools to replace marketers, and we are far from that. What other questions? Well, if no questions for now, I'm going to hand this off to Scott.
Thank you, Daniel. Everybody say thank you, Daniel. That is exactly it. He hit the point on the head. It is, again, about all of us growing together. Now, this is the fun part. Now we're going to get into probably the number one topic in AI marketing right now. That is AEO, AI SEO, whatever it is. We're going to introduce the wonderful Miss Laura Flowers, who's going to walk you through all of that today.
Hey everybody, my name is Laura Flowers, and for the past 10 years I have been in content and SEO primarily for B2B niche industries. So just mostly weird stuff. For the past 2.5 years I've been at a company called OHD that I love a lot. We sell occupational health and safety instruments, and I will not talk to you anymore about occupational health and safety instruments. I'm from Birmingham originally. My husband and I live in Irondale with our cat, and I'm a pretty decent tap dancer, but I will not be tap dancing for you today. I forgot my shoes. We don't have time, Can I just get a show of hand of my B2B folks in the house? Anybody B2B? Oh, all right, great. Awesome. Another time I'm gonna get you to put your hands up. Has anyone heard of AEO, GEO, GSO? Any of these? I think in like a rush to coin a term, we now have 1 million terms for one thing that is essentially the same. For the purposes of our talk, I'm going to go with AEO because HubSpot and Webflow and a lot of other places I trust are calling it AEO, and that is good enough for me. But you can call it whatever you want. What is AEO? AEO is answer engine optimization. So basically optimizing your online presence, so your website and everywhere else, to get AI tools to find you. ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and Google's AI overview. So even if you don't use AI tools for your search, you are definitely seeing the AI overview when you Google anything right now. So you want your brand, your company to show up in the AI overview. And how do you do that? The bad news is that there is no definitive answer. Anyone who says that there is a definitive answer is probably trying to sell you something. There's a lot of noise out there. If you are on marketing LinkedIn too much like me, you're reading a lot of contradictory advice, a lot of good stuff, a lot of stuff that gets outdated really quickly. So for example, a few months ago, everybody said, go all in on Reddit. Because they said to go all in on Reddit, use all of your post on communities and things like that. But then where we were getting cited on Reddit like 10% of the time, it ended up being 2% of the time. And aside from Reddit's stock price plummeting, everybody who went all in on Reddit kind of needed to pivot yet again. So the rules are being written and rewritten. The problem with, or one of the problems with the AI overview on Google is A, that there's not a lot of real estate, and B, we're seeing a mass decoupling. Your GA4 probably looks a lot like mine. Impressions are up, but clicks are down. So where they were together, now they're departing because of zero-click searches, which is kind of scary as a marketer, right? I don't know, what to do if nobody's coming to my website. So how do we get them to how do we show up on AI tools, and how do we get people to click to our website? I think my slides are out of order. It happens. But basically, this is a lot of stuff that I'm hearing on Marketing LinkedIn, on a lot of podcasts, things like that. Just because we don't have a very clear path forward doesn't mean we can't forge a way and act strategically.
Who's doing anything with AEO?
Very nice. I have good news for you. And just because we don't know everything about AEO, SEO fundamentals still apply to AEO. It's a lot of the same things. So this is great news. That means we're not starting at square one. We just kind of have to shift our mindsets of just thinking about SEO to thinking about SEO and AEO. So, but the fundamentals still apply. So what was like long tail keywords is now query fan out. I think we're going to talk more and do a deep dive into AEO next session. So we'll get into query fan out and a lot of this in depth later. But when we think of query fan out, think about the next question that you're asking. So now we're all using ChatGPT, Claude, etc., and we're asking for ourselves, just for one person, to solve one solution. So think of your ideal buyer and what the questions that they're going to ask, and then the follow-up question and the follow-up question. So if it's project management software, then like we can't just think like what's the best project management software. We also need to think what is the best project management software for a 40-person team, or what is the best one for someone who's using Slack and Google Drive and HubSpot. Answering those next questions is where we need to go. Pillar pages are kind of going to be the same, but maybe we think of them as FAQ pages. We've had a lot of luck at OHD with adding FAQs to different pages, and people are really like, when we look at Microsoft Clarity, because we are spying on you, we're seeing a lot of people like really finding FAQs in there, and then we're also seeing it cited on ChatGPT. And then backlinks are still backlinks, but we need to think of them more as citations. So, how is the AI citing not your first party stuff, not from your website, but in the B2B world, at least, I think a lot of us try and publish in trade publications and journals and wherever our buyers are. So for me, it's a lot of occupational health and safety magazines. It's a lot of fire engineering. So we try and get articles listed there. And in a lot of my research, that's where we're getting cited when I do some deep research on OHD. And then the bad news for any creative who got stuck doing technical SEO, schema markup is still schema markup. We just can't get away with not doing it anymore, which it's tedious. And we'll get into it more next time. But there are ways that you can make it easy with AI. That's a great question. So schema markup is basically the stuff that you don't see on a website that is telling you, telling the internet, telling AI, telling Google what the website is doing. So it is structured data that is off the page. So metadata that for us, we might say it's a product page and this is what it says. So it is basically telling Google what to do with our website.
Well, you don't need to know what that is. You just need to use Yoast. That's all you. Yeah, like I need to put a text for the image.
Yeah. If you
Not sponsored.
if you do use WordPress, a WordPress-based site, Yoast Premium does make it a lot easier for you to manage. Yoast is a plugin on WordPress-based sites. So if you
search Yoast SEO,
yeah, it allows you to add metadata very easily, and if you pay for it, you get schema markup. But it is also free. It's free, but I think I pay like $118 a year for the premium service, so not too bad. Yes. Absolutely. So basically what I want to impress upon you today is that you're not starting from nothing. The rules are changing and they're being written and rewritten, and it's confusing, but you are not starting from square one and you are not alone. I think we're all kind of on the same playing field. We just need to shift our perspective from just thinking about SEO to thinking about SEO and AEO. And one thing that really helped me, I was recently at HubSpot's conference and I went to a talk with the growth guy, I don't know, at Webflow. I don't remember. There's a lot of like COO, my CEO is right there, but CGO, I think is what it was called. So anyway, this was really helpful for me to shift my perspective from just thinking about SEO to thinking about SEO as a means to getting to AEO. So this maturity chart is great. If you are a person that likes to take a picture, I would take a picture of this. But we will send it to you later. But if you are impatient like me, then do it now. I think this is really helpful. So level one is keywords. This is like on-page SEO. This is your basic run-of-the-mill stuff that we're all hopefully doing. If you are not at level one, that is okay. I would recommend talking to someone in this room who is at an agency. I know Lance in the back does SEO for Uptick, and he would be a good resource if you need some help. But then it kind of moves into answers. So you're adapting your content a little for answers, answering questions. I think a lot of us do this as well, but you're looking at Google's EEAT, which is experience, something else, authority, trustworthy. It's on there. Those principles that we have been doing for years, they still apply. But then, then we move into structure. So then we're going into those question clusters like the FAQs I was talking about and query fan out. And then level 4 and 5, you're really cooking with gas. If anybody is at level 5, it's like really confident and like measuring their LLM mentions, well, please come talk to me after this because you should be up here, not me. But what I want you to do is I want you to look at this and I want you to think about where you are. I think a lot of us are somewhere around like 2 or 3, and that's okay. That's a good place to be. But think about where you are and where you want to go. And if you were like, Laura, I want to get hire, but how do I get there? And you're new to this and you haven't started with AEO. I come bearing gifts. Everybody look under your chairs. Don't really, just kidding. uh, in the follow-up email, I'm going to send you an AEO starter kit. This is 2 steps that I think you can take over the next few weeks to start thinking about AEO for your company, for your product. There are prompts in there that you can use to see how the AI tools are finding you, what they're saying, what they're not saying. We had a big problem at OHD with them saying a lot of stuff that was not right. We had to fix that. And then a quick content audit framework and a way to sort of track your mentions and see where you want to go. And then also just finally in there, how to address query fan out and thinking about your content roadmap, especially going into 2026. So yeah, that's really it. Does anyone have any questions? Ooh, awesome. Well, thank you guys very much.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to do some questions for the audience in just a minute, but I want to blow through this last little bit of information real quick. So these are our upcoming events calendar right here. We've got our general meetup in November, finance, engineering, HR and people ops. I believe that's the first HR one, right?
Yeah, I saw Kelly. Where's Kelly at?
Woo!
Kelly's like,
woo! And then we have nonprofit, which is actually Wednesday as well, and then in December. I have my arms up there yet, but we'll have a QR code here in a minute for the next marketing one. So here is how can we serve you? We have an event survey. You can take that for us. Let us know what you think. Ask us any further topics you would like us to cover in the future. And then we have our event bracket right here.
you can go ahead and register right now the next meetup because we want to bump those numbers up.
Well, we can't bump it much higher. We're probably shut it down. So, all right, now we're going to open it up to the audience. And don't worry, I'm not going to make anybody raise their hand first. I'm going to do something a little bit off kilter. I'm going to take a sit right over here, and I'm going to ask Drew what his questions are. Everybody say hi, Drew.
Hi, Drew.
Drew is going to do the job of Craig Browning and like job for him. So, Drew, what questions do you have about AI for Sam?
I think my first question would be if hey everybody, my name's Drew. Daniel Law, thank you so much for being willing to share a little bit of your story, a little bit of your expertise. So I feel like we got a double whammy. Laura, I'm curious what the starter kit of the
Thank you. You're my kind of people, Drew.
So with the starter kit, tell me a little bit, what was the biggest opportunity and challenge and maybe pitfalls for someone?
Definitely. I think for me, one of the biggest challenges was trying to wrap my head around the prompt to really see not just, I think at first, and there are 2 prompts in the starter kit, by the way. One is, asking it what, or asking ChatGPT or Claude or whomever, what they know about your company, what they know about your product and service. And that was helpful. That was illuminating. That told me, a lot of what we needed to address. But then I realized I was going about it the wrong way, or not going about it the wrong way, but there's a better way to go about it. And that is to put myself in the customer's shoes and ask as the customer. So really role play there. So, I was thinking about industrial hygienists are a big, buyer persona for us. Yeah, me too. But I put myself in their shoes to kind of figure out where we showed up from there. And that helped me reframe things. But it's overwhelming. And then tracking. But I make ChatGPT do the heavy lifting on tracking and building a matrix. And maybe next time I could share that. Really, like, it gets into the nitty gritty, but that might be helpful to just kind of track your mentions and get it to get everything into something you can read and digest.
Thank you, Laura. That was great. All right, who's next? Mike, you got a question? Oh, okay, well, that's it. No, I should punish Mike. I'll just go there. But we forget it. No. Okay. But no, question I had is, as far as marketing goes, this is kind of out of the box, I think. YouTube, YouTube channel. How would that, if you had a product and you market, and then you set up a YouTube, like a Joe Rogan, promoting that product, how would that affect AEO, or would it affect very much?
I think you could certainly, I think if you had a podcast that you wanted to get cited, I think you would approach it similarly. I'm very much not a podcast person, but I think that what I would do is, I would have a website for sure, and I would also lean heavily on transcripts. I think that is probably thinking that would be the best.
Yeah, so there are a couple of different things I would do. First things first, YouTube is the largest search engine currently, but is being rivaled by Google and ChatGPT. So definitely a place to be. Okay. Transcription is kind of, I will say, one of those next, quote unquote, next big secrets out there. Because if you have long form content, it is now stupidly simple to use something like Quick Whisper or something like that has a nice large model that gives very accurate transcriptions. It's not like the old Dragon speech and stuff like that, although I'm sure it's so good. It would kind of get most of it right. It gets you probably 80, 85% there. 99% when it comes to things like Quick Whisper and things like that. Make sure you're putting in there. Also, the other thing that I would do is, as you are putting content up there, ask ChatGPT to draft your description. Now go in there and make some edits and make sure it's right. Make sure it's representing you. But Matt's probably going to kill me for saying this. Gone are the days where I have to keep up with the latest changes in the algorithms and things like that. All I have to do is say, hey, ChatGPT, what for SEO, give me a best version of my description. Please don't kill me, Matt. I love you. Okay, good.
Hi, I'm Valerie.
Hi, Valerie.
Hi, Valerie.
Maybe you talk about how AI is used as delivering for Meta and Google and Domino's and things. What do you got to say about that?
So, in terms of Andromeda, I know this is something that I talked about Paul. So let's back up. By the way, he's over at Update. He's director of advertising.
We kind of like him, man.
County board member at AMA. He's director of board. So Andromeda is great because I feel like you can turn ads so quick and you can stay ahead of the curve, so you're not just stuck sitting on the same creative all the time. It pretty much wants you to change creative out, and it wants you to have a wide variety. So in adopting their new AI structure behind it, we can also piggyback our own AI off it. So we can take things like Nano Banana from Google, other image generation, video generation, and we can make a ton of variations. And Facebook will actually serve them up in the sequence that is working to get people. So if you have one, and this is all niche, but if you have one that's driving the conversion where you want it, but it's not getting the overall impression number, it's not getting a lot more top of funnel numbers, then make sure you still keep it because it's the one that's driving the conversion. We can't see the order that's being sold. So that the order is being served on the platform. So that's why you really have to watch the analytics on that a lot more closely now, because you need to see exactly what it's getting, the conversion. If you're e-com, it's a lot easier because you've already got so much content. But if you're not, you private traffic landing page, you need a lot more content. And now TikTok is actually doing something extremely similar. They're almost copying the platforms. They're copying the algorithms exactly now. So if you're doing TikTok ad video, which is probably one person, then it's the same thing. That's that platform. Google is similar as well. I'm not a Google guy, but in terms of the environment, put creative in it. Let it move forward. All right, well, I think this is actually our last one right here. Before we go, I just want to thank the Innovation Depot for having us here. I want to thank our volunteers.
Yep.
I want to thank Nick back there for helping us record. I'm just getting one thing. William Glass, the principal. Let's get out there and grow together.
Thank you guys for coming.